Here's your wrestling news for December 16th, 2025. Your headlines for today include WWE cuts key moment before Gunther's segment, fans notice. Triple H, Prichard respond to disappointing attacker reveal. Is WWE preparing for AJ Styles' final run in February 2026? WWE management issued warning after Maxxine Dupri RAW incident. Did CM Punk cross the line with his explosive RAW promo? Fans push for Drew McIntyre title win, WWE at a crossroads. Breaking, WWE announces LA Knight injury, out indefinitely, and more. Raw kicked off exactly how you'd expect, with Gunther, the man who made John Cena tap out. The show opened with a video package highlighting Cena's final match and his emotional goodbye. Unsurprisingly, WWE edited out the heavy boos Triple H received at Saturday night's main event, but there was no hiding the reaction Gunther got live in the building. The crowd showered him with deafening boos, and Gunther clearly relished every second of it. Daring General thrived in the moment, proudly reminding everyone that he did exactly what he promised. He made John Cena give up. He even mocked the moment, claiming Cena tapped out like a little before letting the crowd's reaction speak for itself. This was exactly what WWE needed as a follow-up to Saturday night's main event. Gunther didn't overtalk the moment, he didn't need a long promo. He came out, soaked in the hostility, left the ring, then returned to celebrate again. He later moved to the commentary desk to celebrate once more, twisting the knife deeper each time. That simplicity is one of Gunther's greatest strengths. The segment was barely a segment at all, but it worked because it didn't need to be anything more. The crowd did the heavy lifting, and the reaction alone told the story. After the in-ring segment, as Gunther walked through the arena, he was confronted by Otis, Akira Tozawa, and R-Truth, with Truth flat out calling him trash. Moments later, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce stepped in and ordered Gunther to leave the building, cutting short his victory lap. As Gunther was walking out, he crossed paths with AJ Styles in a tense face-to-face. Gunther even delivered Cena's iconic "You Can't See Me" gesture towards Styles, a subtle but loaded visual that immediately got people talking. And that's where things get very interesting. AJ Styles has already stated that 2026 will be his final year in WWE, and according to Fightful Select, WWE is planning Gunther vs AJ Styles sometime in February 2026. If this confrontation is the beginning of something bigger, it could signal Styles as the next major name in Gunther's path. Between Styles potentially winding down his career and ongoing rumors that Brock Lesnar could retire around SummerSlam, WWE may be positioning Gunther as something more than just a dominant champion. He may be evolving into a modern-day career ender, a new legend killer for this era. Whether fans loved or hated Saturday night's main event, one thing is clear: WWE doubled down on Gunther tonight. The reaction was massive, the presentation was sharp, and the direction feels deliberate. With all the nuclear heel heat he has right now, do you think Gunther is still the right man to retire more big names like AJ Styles or even Brock Lesnar? Sound off in the comments below. Braun Breaker and World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk are rapidly building one of WWE's most intense rivalries, with their title clash now set for the first episode of Monday Night Raw in 2026. Up to this point, the story had been driven largely by Breaker, who repeatedly called out Punk while the champion remained on the sidelines. Braun made it clear he wasn't interested in facing today's Punk, he wanted the 2011 version. This week on Raw, Punk finally responded. Punk returned with a scathing promo shutting down Breaker's claims by stating that Braun couldn't stand toe-to-toe with the 2025 CM Punk, let alone the 2011 version. He went further, labeling Breaker a cross-eyed Neanderthal Nepo baby, and didn't stop there, taking shots at Rick and Scott Steiner by referring to them as Dumb and Dumber. Under normal circumstances, the segment likely would have ended with Breaker and the Vision laying Punk out, similar to what happened with LA Knight. Instead, Paul Heyman stepped in. Heyman explicitly instructed Breaker to do nothing for the next 3 weeks. Both PW Insider and Fightful have previously reported that WWE is leaning toward Braun Breaker winning the Royal Rumble, which strongly suggests Punk is expected to retain the World Heavyweight Championship against Breaker on the January 5th Raw Netflix anniversary show. If that holds, it would seemingly position Breaker for a massive redemption moment later on down the line, potentially at WrestleMania 42. Do you think WWE is slow-burning Breaker's rise the right way, or should he be the one to dethrone Punk sooner rather than later? Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. That question of long-term planning carried directly into another major mystery unfolding backstage. Adam Pearce once again pressed Paul Heyman for answers about the identity of the Masked Man. Heyman deflected in classic fashion, noting that it could be Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, or even Bruno Sammartino, insisting he had no idea. However, an earlier backstage segment added intrigue. Logan Paul appeared to know exactly who the Masked Man was, while Heyman suggested he was fine with it as long as the Masked Man's vision aligned with the Vision. The main event of Raw saw Logan Paul face Rey Mysterio, with the Vision once again making their presence felt. As promised, Punk had Mysterio's back, but chaos followed. The Masked Man attacked Rey, delivering a curb stomp, allowing Logan Paul to steal the victory. Punk chased the attacker off, only for the Masked Man to finally reveal himself as Austin Theory, marking his return to WWE television. Theory had long been the favorite to be under the mask, but the bigger question now is where he stands. Is Austin Theory aligned with Paul Heyman, or is he simply another weapon for Logan Paul? Sound off in the comments below. Reports from dirt sheets indicate that the reveal didn't land the way WWE expected backstage. According to those reports, Triple H and Bruce Prichard were visibly taken aback at the gorilla position, largely due to the lukewarm crowd reaction that followed the Masked Man being revealed, suggesting the moment didn't generate the impact the creative team had anticipated. Do you feel the same way about the reveal, or did it work for you? Jay and Jimmy Uso made their entrance first to face Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, instantly reigniting one of WWE's longest-running and most celebrated tag team rivalries. Grayson Waller accompanied the New Day at ringside, adding another wrinkle to an already familiar feud. From the opening bell, it was clear that this was a matchup built on history. Joe Tessitore noted during commentary that these two teams have now shared the ring 44 times, a staggering number that speaks to how intertwined their legacies are. And while the match was solid and well executed, it didn't quite reach the show-stealing heights fans have come to expect from these four. To be clear, this wasn't a bad match by any means, it simply felt like it fell short of the incredible standard these teams have set for themselves over the years. They don't need to steal the show every time they meet, but something felt just slightly off. Thankfully, the match never felt rushed, allowing both teams to sell effectively and let moments breathe. Waller's interference initially gave the New Day an edge, but once he was ejected from ringside, the playing field leveled out quickly. In the end, it was the Usos who capitalized, connecting with the 1D to secure the victory. With another chapter now written in this rivalry, the bigger question remains, where does this feud go next? Do you think it's time for AJ Styles and Dragon Lee to drop the tag titles and shift their focus to singles runs? Sound off in the comments below. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are officially set to challenge Asuka and Kairi Sane for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships on the January 5th episode of Monday Night Raw, and tensions boiled over in a big way this week. On Raw, Ripley and Io came out to address their upcoming title match, but the moment didn't stay calm for long. During their entrance, Asuka suddenly appeared in the crowd and blindsided Ripley with a blast of green mist, instantly turning the segment chaotic. The Kabuki Warriors followed up with a full ambush. Asuka restrained Ripley while Kairi Sane climbed to the top rope, lining up the insane elbow. Just as the move was about to land clean, Io Sky dove in at the last second, sacrificing herself to shield Ripley and taking the full impact instead. Medics immediately rushed to ringside to check on Io as Asuka and Kairi retreated through the crowd. With emotions high, momentum swinging, and Io possibly compromised, this rivalry has taken a much more personal turn ahead of January 5th. Where do you see this feud going next? Should WWE pull the trigger on a title change, or are Asuka and Kairi just getting started? The next match saw Maxxine Dupri put the Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line against her former ally, Ivy Nile. Dupri attempted to show early confidence, signaling that she wasn't intimidated by Nile, but that resolve didn't last long. Ivy quickly grounded the champion, forcing Dupri onto the mat and reminding everyone of the experience gap between them. Throughout the match, Dupri leaned heavily into submissions, a clear reflection of her continued training under Natalya. While that growth was evident, WWE still presented her as an underdog, someone learning on the job, despite the fact she's been with the company since 2021. That presentation does fit the larger story of Dupri's title reign. She's been framed as someone who keeps defying the odds rather than dominating outright. At some point, Dupri will need to move beyond the rookie champion phase and start operating at the level of established main roster competitors. To her credit, her improvement is noticeable. Dupri has looked sharper in recent outings, moving with more confidence and purpose than before. That comfort in the ring is beginning to translate, even if she still has ground to cover. Although Dupri picked up the win, the closing moments of the match raised concern for a different reason. Late in the bout, Dupri was dropped while attempting to apply an ankle lock on Nile. As she went down again, the impact caused a brief wardrobe malfunction, with her top slipping out of place. Fortunately, Dupri reacted quickly, adjusting her gear before standing back up and keeping the situation off camera. Her awareness prevented WWE from having to cut away or black out part of the broadcast, something the company's been forced to do in similar situations recently. According to multiple Backstage reports, the incident has now prompted internal action. WWE higher-ups have reportedly instructed producers to speak directly with their assigned talent about being more mindful of gear issues, especially given that wardrobe malfunctions have occurred 3 to 4 times over the past couple of months. It's also worth noting that Charlotte Flair was reportedly warned following a similar situation on SmackDown just weeks ago, signaling a growing emphasis from WWE on avoiding repeat incidents moving forward. WWE has confirmed that LA Knight suffered multiple injuries, most notably a cracked sternum following a vicious attack by the Vision on the December 8th episode of Monday Night Raw. This assault began after Knight lost to Logan Paul due to interference from a masked attacker. Following the match, Paul, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker continued their assault on the megastar backstage. The attack culminated in the parking lot, where Reed put Knight through a table before delivering his devastating tsunami splash onto Knight, who was lying on the hood of a car. Knight was stretchered out and transported to a local hospital. WWE has announced that the 43-year-old former United States champion will be out of action indefinitely as he recovers from the injuries sustained during the attack. WWE has announced that the 43-year-old former United States champion will be out of action indefinitely as he recovers from the injuries sustained during the attack. WWE dramatically reframed Drew McIntyre's suspension on December 15th by releasing backstage-style footage that turned the situation into a deeply personal confrontation. The video showed SmackDown GM Nick Aldis arriving at McIntyre's home, explaining that he wanted the meeting documented and handled in good faith following Drew's actions in Washington, D.C. Aldis made WWE's position clear. The company and Cody Rhodes were open to Drew returning, but only if he publicly apologized, paid a major fine, and accepted strict conditions. McIntyre rejected the offer outright, accusing WWE of protecting Rhodes and creating an unsafe environment. Instead, he demanded what he believed he was owed, a WWE Championship match against Cody Rhodes, with the right to choose the stipulation. After tense back and forth, Aldis reluctantly agreed and said legal paperwork could be finalized. The situation exploded when Drew discovered Rhodes had shown up at his house. The footage ended with the two brawling outside, turning negotiations into chaos. Is it finally time for WWE to take the championship off Cody Rhodes and put it on Drew McIntyre? Or does Cody's story still have more chapters left to tell? Sound off in the comments below. Javon Evans will be in action next week on Monday Night Raw, where he's set to face Rayo Americano from the El Grande Americano faction, essentially Pete Dunne under a mask. On paper, this has the potential to be a very intriguing matchup. Dunne's gritty, technical style against Evans' speed could make for a standout Raw bout, and it'll be interesting to see how Rayo Americano handles the spotlight in this role. The highlight of the segment came from Ludwig Kaiser, who stole the moment by speaking Spanish in a thick Austrian accent. Stephanie Vaquer put the Women's World Championship on the line against Raquel Rodriguez, but the match never reached a decisive finish. The bout was thrown out after Nikki Bella stormed the ring and took out both competitors. While Nikki briefly laid out Raquel, her focus was clearly on the champion, leaving Vaquer down in the ring to close the segment. The attack raises new questions about the direction of the title picture moving forward. Is WWE setting the stage for a triple threat Women's World Championship match, or was this simply Nikki Bella sending a message to the champion? Bayley snapped again on Raw during a tense backstage segment as frustration from a recent loss continues to boil over. Lyra Valkyria attempted to fire Bayley up ahead of her upcoming match against Roxanne Perez, but the motivation came off more forceful than supportive. With Judgment Day looming in the background, questions remain. Will they interfere and cost Bayley the match, even with Valkyria in her corner? And is this escalating tension the beginning of the end for the Bayley-Valkyria alliance? That wraps up WWE Raw this week. How would you rate the show overall, and which segment stood out most for you, and why? Sound off in the comments below. That's it for the 9 a.m. news, guys. Please note that we will not be releasing the results from the pre-taped WWE SmackDown show. Don't miss our next video coming at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with all the latest wrestling updates. Smash that bell icon and select all notifications so you're always in the loop.